nigga do? Ice water in my veins, hardcore and igloo. I'm familiar with the money, so who the fuck is you? What the fuck you do? Where the fuck you from? Who you know?
I appreciate that, thank you. When you started that, I was thinking, how does he know about the belly button thing? I was like, that's weird. And then it got even weirder. I have to say this is completely random, but I've been thinking about this as long as we've had Stories and Beer in here. Every time I see somebody under these lights, all I can think about is Carrie. And I'm like, I'm just gonna like start looking at everybody and she's just gonna start blowing up. I don't know. Did anybody else think that, or am I the only person?
Now we're thinking it.
Okay. So while I'm reading these highly religious poems, just think about Carrie. It'll be weird. I have a little sort of introduction here that's from Horace. When Prometheus was assigned the task of making each of us what we are, he put into us something of each other creature in nature. Only in this way could a human be so utterly believable. The perfect curve of marble hands, connecting supple to supplication. Here at the first station, I was taught to watch how Jesus' index and middle finger separate from the thumb and point to the sky as Pilate reads. It is in this way we are blessed. Caiaphas stands with his hands outstretched and his fingers splayed and downward. And I was taught to see jackals here more than any other creature, the whine and weep of packs, how a tongue laps the deep cut, the exposed bone. Sister Teresa sets her hand on my thigh, presses nails into flesh, pushing my small knee to the floor. It is in this way we genuflect, out of respect, to meditate on each prick of thorn and pull of the lash. I'm 9 years old, and I feel less a lion or a lamb, and more a cobra. I have this hooded heart I can't bear to show. This is what suffering looks like, Sister Teresa says. It's beautiful. It stands so perfectly still. All right. Figure 6, Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. Why are you kneeling? Why have we both knelt? Only in this way are we alike in stature and statuary. We say drop or fall when our knees touch the ground like a stone from your palm. But really, we mean pulled, a common center, an endless patch of dirt pocked by heels. This place is smaller than the hairs on a nettle, each lonely in their sting in solitude, until now. Believe me when I tell you I've dreamt of this fabric. A simple swatch of cloth held over a patch of violet flowers, their papery bracts. I think I understand now the worn path, the wine dark of the sage flowers that can't help but grow. Why do I look to their faces after seeing yours? The oblong leaves, these split veins and inflorescent whorls. What I really mean to say is that you're both beautiful. What I mean to say is that sometimes we see a menorah in something as simple as sage. So, I do want to stop for a second, and this is actually the first time I've read from these poems since this book came out, so that's really exciting. This is actually the first time I've ever read any of these poems in front of, quite honestly, anyone, I think. Sort of highly personal poems, but I do want to say for a second that one of the blurbs on this book was from my friend Jake Adam York, who has since passed away, and I told myself that if I ever get a chance to read from this book, that I would thank him for being willing to write something for it. So thank you, Jake. Again, not to make the serious even more serious, but I apologize that that's how it's gone. It's too bad that Khalil isn't here and he could do it in a Cookie Monster death metal voice, and that would really clear it up. But I'm sorry, it's just not going to work that way. Again, let's go forward. I got a couple more. Figure 8, the women of Jerusalem weep. This hand held out can mean a blessing, as in, my Father looks upon you now, but it also indicates a stop, the aspirated breath at the end of watch, and the voice consonant that begins, "But come no closer, I have no strength to comfort you." And so he weeps to show they are not so different, that only a small space separates them, in the same way salt sticks to skin or sun steals water from wood. These things we carry were once alive, though sometimes a cheek is the only proof. Sometimes the desert can only lead by what is pocked and riven. He wishes these tears could wash them away and pool and churn in white phosphorescence till they find themselves on some foreign beach where branches hang lower and looser in the breeze. A place where men build their boats from a single trunk of some strangely named tree, royal black or star apple, wet and cold even in the midday sun. He wishes just once to hear the glottal language of a people who never once thought to call their sea dead. All right, last one, and Caleb, thanks for having me. And also, if you love these extremely serious religious poems, feel free to buy a copy. Feel free to buy a copy downstairs. They're only $5. Quite honestly, you could buy it for an IOU, or you could buy me beer sometimes, or quite honestly, you could just invent a really awesome handshake with me, and I would probably give you a copy, and that would be really cool. But it would have to be our handshake, and it would have to be unique. And anytime I saw you for the rest of our lives, we'd have to do that handshake. So it's a big commitment. Think about it. Think about it. All right. Figure 11. And by the way, I'm not going to read the last one, figure 14, but just in case you don't know, he totally dies. just throwing it out there. Just in case. But, I just totally ruined it for everyone. Figure 11, Jesus is nailed to the cross. There's something I haven't told you, that a hand may curl around a wrist or a neck, that this is how I was led to believe, to be in such places. And though I forget the feel of some dark corner of desk, or how the shade fell from room to room, I can still hear the water as it ran each morning like kite string, pulled from tangle and sudden tug. I can remember this. A hand may be cold, more claw than caress. A small nail still sticks to the plaster, the open palm. A hammer falls but does not connect. The hammer is always falling, and so this is a perfect admission, an act of letting in. The Latin licked like silver pieces, the clothing paired. When we do not understand, we close our eyes, we learn to hold our breath. We count as we are instructed. When we finally let go, what breath we have circles like Sirocco, storm of the southeastern winds, where the faithful dream of dust, and whispers hang in the air like tiny spheres of prayer.
It thinks for 1 second that maybe I'm second-guessing myself, that I am the greatest of all time, forever and ever. One surprise! One surprise! Shh. Woo! I'm back.
To make it off the ice cold streets of the city, you better have a Christopher word game with it.